And joining us now, founder and president of the Article 3 Project and former law clerk to Justice Neil Gorsuch is Mike Davis. Mike, good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. Want to kind of get your analysis on this indictment this week. We're watching the first appearance now. This will be, obviously just the start of what's to come. Your issues that you have, though, with this particular case brought by Jack Smith.
This is another bogus political case brought by Jack Smith, the Democrats' political hitman who is sent in to take out Republican presidential candidates like Jack Smith did with Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell. Jack Smith was reversed 8-0. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia died. But that was several years after the 2016 presidential primary, and so the damage was done. That is the same play that Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and Jack Smith are running here. They're trying to indict Trump for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election, knowing this is an absurd legal theory that will definitely get overturned by the Supreme Court. But they have this case with an Obama judge in D.C. with a Trump deranged jury pool, and so they know where this is heading. Their goal here is election interference.
Well, Governor McDonnell's case got overturned at the Supreme Court. That's a long time away, like you said, and we're in the middle of the election right now. But we're also seeing pressure coming for some more investigations into the Biden family business as well, Mike. Are you hopeful with any of those that it will lead to something?
No, I'm not, because we have clearly two systems of justice in America, one for the Democrats and one for the rest of us. Joe Biden is clearly compromised by tens of millions of dollars in foreign bribes and other corrupt payments to, it seems like, every Biden family member except for the 4-year-old granddaughter, who they just acknowledged for the first time in 5 years recently. The Biden Justice Department is covering up for their boss, Joe Biden, and every time bad news comes out about Joe Biden, they come forward with new indictments on President Trump for non-crimes. This is lawfare by Democrats. The only way this is going to get resolved is the American people putting President Trump back in the White House after November 7th, 2024.
Well, yeah, and Mike, going back to this indictment and the charges therein, really it seems like the crux of the government's case is, and it may hinge on the former president's mindset. You see the word knowingly coming up throughout the indictment, that he knowingly pushed false claims of that the election, that there was widespread fraud, that it was stolen. But how do you prove that? How do you prove his mindset?
I mean, that's the problem, is that Jack Smith knows that this is a dog of a case. This is a political Scud missile launched at President Trump because they fear President Trump is going to win the White House back in November of 2024. This is a dog of a legal case. This activity that they're charging President Trump with, even if everything they're alleging is true, which it's not, but even if it's all true, this is activity protected by the First Amendment. It is not illegal to challenge elections in the United States of America. It's only illegal to challenge elections in third world Marxist hellholes. That's why Democrats were not charged for challenging Republican presidential wins in 1968, 2000, 2004, and 2016. This is lawfare by Democrats. This is lawfare by Biden.
What's the strategy with naming, not naming, but putting in 6 co-conspirators here? Obviously, there's a lot of, strategy behind that, too. Is it to try and get them to, flip on him? Or what do you think that's all about?
I think it's to get a fast trial before the November 2024 presidential election. And if Jack Smith can't get a fast trial before the election, I think he's going to supersede this indictment like he did with the document indictment, the Mar-a-Lago presidential records indictment. And I think he's going to name the co-conspirators and add new charges, maybe like seditious conspiracy or some other nonsense like that.
Now, Mike, as you know, former Vice President Pence has talked about this. He was in the indictment. It talks about him taking contemporaneous notes. And then yesterday he spoke saying that the American people deserve to know that President Trump and his advisors didn't just ask me to pause, they asked me to reject votes, return votes, essentially to overturn the election. Could we see the former vice president actually taking the stand and testifying against former President Trump, his
Sure.
former vice president?
We could, but here's the issue. That's not illegal what Trump did. That is protected by the First Amendment. Objecting to an election is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Twisted arms politically is allowed by the First Amendment. So even if all that's true, it's not a crime.
Yeah, and the notation, too, that what he is charged with, as you just said, is nothing to do with actually on January 6th. But when Jack Smith came out to talk about the indictment, he mentioned January 6th a lot and about the heroic officers that were there. And some say that was deceptive, Mike.
Yeah, I think it tainted the D.C. jury pool. I mean, it's already going to be 99% Trump deranged, and he's trying to taint it even more than it already is. Look, if President Trump encouraged a riot on January 6th, that's one thing. There is zero evidence he did that. The evidence is actually to the contrary. He told his protesters who had a lawful permit by the National Park Service to be there, because we can protest in America, or we could until yesterday, that he told them to be there peacefully. There is zero evidence that Trump incited a riot. The January 6th Kangaroo Commission in the House couldn't find any evidence. Jack Smith is not alleging any evidence. And so what they're trying to do is put up that imagery of January 6th riot and then try to charge Trump for non-crimes that are protected by the First Amendment.
Hey, Mike, real quick, because we got about maybe 20 seconds, but today's the arraignment. What happens after that? I assume then there's going to be motions to change the venue, various motions being filed.
Yeah, he's going to plead not guilty today, and then you're going to see motions to dismiss, motions to change the venue, motions to recuse this clearly biased Obama judge, discovery motions. This is not going to be an easy case for Jack Smith. It's a complicated case as a matter of fact, as a matter of law. It's a dog of a legal case.
All right.
Article 3 founder and president, Article 3 Project, Mike Davis, good to see you today, and come back soon.
Thank you.